Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to your reading. So as I was preparing for your reading, I heard the words, go to the garden for advice. So I feel like this is a message for someone who is feeling really lost right now and maybe even feeling desperate. Like that's one of the words that's coming through in this energy. It's like someone that feels almost at like rock bottom with something in their life. The other reason I'm saying this is the cards that I was drawn to bring out to this reading are the Christ Consciousness Self-Mastery Oracle, and this oracle deck called the Oracle of Divine Courage. So I feel like that's really significant. And I know I haven't pulled any cards yet, but Spirit, while I was shuffling, was reminding me of a memory of mine, a situation that I went through years ago, and I think it's relevant to your reading. So just really briefly, years and years ago, I went through a really difficult time regarding one of my kids, and at the time I was an atheist. So prior to being an atheist, I did consider myself a Christian. And, long story. Anyway, I got away from that. I got really disillusioned with Christianity, and I had been very firmly considering myself an atheist for many years. And then something happened with my daughter, and just for sake of privacy, I don't want to share the details about that, but it was a situation where as a mother, I felt so scared and really desperate because I did not know how to help my child. She was a teenager at the time, a young teenager, and going through a really difficult time. And I was so desperate that one night, I remember my husband was away, I was by myself, and I literally, not to be dramatic, but this is how it was, but I fell to my knees. And again, remember, I was an atheist, right? And I just begged God, the Holy Spirit, for help. And I remember very clearly, I said, I completely surrender this situation to you because I don't know what to do. And in that very moment, I experienced the most profound feeling of peace come over my body. And I mean, I was sobbing, and once I felt that energy flow over me, I just immediately stopped crying, and I just knew in my heart and my soul that everything was going to work out just fine, and that I could calm myself and just fully surrender and trust and have faith, which was really funny because I remember getting in bed like that and laying in bed thinking, what am I doing? I'm an atheist. Why am I praying to God and the Holy Spirit and all of this? And, I didn't worry about the why and whether or not I had the right to do that. So sorry to make this story long. I just wanted to share that because I feel like that's relevant to this reading. There might be somebody here who is in that kind of situation where you feel like you've done everything that you can do, and you're really feeling maybe scared and desperate and worried, heavy anxiety I'm feeling. And there's just a call to surrender. That's the main message here. So you may not be an atheist, most likely not if you're coming to a tarot reading, but you just may have that feeling of not knowing what to do, feeling really lost and confused. And Spirit wanted me to share that message to show you the power of surrender. When you really let go and surrender everything to whatever you consider a higher power. And even for me, I didn't even consider there being a higher power anymore, but maybe really deep inside I knew. Looking back now, I think that my soul knew that there is a higher force, and that's something that I could lean on. And after that, my whole life changed. I started having, it was a very big spiritual awakening for me, and I started having all kinds of spiritual experiences and everything. So that kind of got me back into really connecting with my soul and my spirit team, and it's just grown from there. That was many, many years ago. I don't know how many years ago it was. Let's see. At least, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, something like that. So let's see what Spirit has to share with you in this message. I'm actually going to start with, look what's on the bottom of the deck, peace. Yeah, I feel like I'm connecting with somebody who really needs to feel some peace right now. So I'm hoping this message will give you a little bit of guidance and help you find some peace. So let's start with this deck here and see Oracle of Divine Courage, what message Spirit wants to start with. Okay, serve. Even when it feels like you're not, remember that you are truly needed in this world. Your presence and contributions make a meaningful impact, often in ways you may not immediately realize. Just being you helps to heal the world. Okay, that's the first message. I'm going to get 3 cards from this deck. Okay, climb. The view is worth the climb. Keep in mind that the journey with all its challenges leads to a rewarding and breathtaking perspective that no one can take from you. And absolutely, like when it feels like there's like this enormous mountain in front of you and you do not know how you're going to be able to face the mountain, let alone climb it, it does lead, when you do it, when you decide to move forward and climb that mountain, knowing that you're safe, that you're going to make it, you will be able to look back and, like this card says, it will lead to a rewarding and breathtaking perspective that no one can take from you. How it changes you, yeah, again, it's something that no one can take from you, and it really can be life-changing. And every challenge that we go through, I know it's so cliche, but the ways that it changes us are ways that it's not just that our soul wanted to have that experience, but it's like we have the experience to strengthen our ability to be a human in this world, because it is so difficult to have a human experience, and we need to go through challenges to fortify us so we can face the challenges that we are currently facing, and then the challenges that lie ahead, and then the ones that lie ahead really truly become much easier to handle because of what we've gone through in the past. And I can attest to that also. If I hadn't gone through that experience with my daughter, and this was a many years long experience, this trial, I want to call it, that we went through with her was extremely difficult, and I wouldn't be able to handle like the things I've faced since then if I hadn't gone through that experience and had it change me in the way that it did. And I've faced some things since then I would say are close to being as challenging as that. Maybe not quite as much as that, but and maybe I only say that they're not as challenging because of what I had gone through, right? That's another thing. When you go through something extremely difficult, it will make other challenges that you face that somebody else might say is something they wouldn't be able to handle, right? Like, oh wow, how did you get through that? That would be like so difficult and I wouldn't be able to handle that. And you're like, well, I was able to handle it because I've handled worse, you know, and that really is one of the values of going through those really difficult challenges is it makes you, I want to say, like a warrior. And I think it has something to do with this serve card. Like the way that you're going to be called up to serve, you have to be a certain kind of person. You have to have gone through very, very difficult challenges to make you stronger. I'm really getting this like divine warrior energy coming through here. And And like, if you're going to, okay, this is just something I'm channeling right now. If you're going to serve in God's army, you need to be like trained to be a divine warrior. It's like a soldier kind of training, right? Think about like the training that military people go through, right? It's grueling. And well, why do they go through that? It's so they can be ready to face battles. God is using those things that you're going through and whatever you're going through right now to, and I'm not just saying this to like pump you up. This is coming through. This is channeling from spirit right now. I can tell the difference between something that's just me sharing advice, like my life experience, and something that I'm channeling. And this is something that is being channeled at the moment. That God is sending you through this challenge to fortify you to be able to fight in his army, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so I'm connecting with a collective that you have been like selected to be in this army fighting for the light. But in order to do that, you had to have known darkness. You had to have been able to overcome challenges and not give up in the face of them. It's coming through very, very strongly. Well, I wasn't thinking I was going to be doing this today. This is a very heavy and a very big energy to sit in, but I'm honored to be able to do that. Okay, let's get one more here. Darkness, yep. A simple promise. The darkness cannot last forever because it cannot withstand the unyielding force of light. Your soul is pure light, even with its shadows. Sorry. I told you I wasn't really prepared to do this today. Oh, and underneath that is joy. Embrace joy as more than just a happy word. It's a deep connection to what uplifts you. Your enthusiasm can inspire others. Don't forget to tap into that joy as you chase success today. And that might not sound like something that you're able to do right now. And that's why this was underneath the darkness card. Because when you go to the depths that you are going through and that you have gone through, it allows you to experience joy at even higher levels. You may have heard that too before, like the deeper you go, the higher you can go. And I believe that too so much, and it's so hard to hear something like that when you're in the depths of it. And it's so difficult because you can't see the light ahead. You can't see that things are going to get better. You can't trust. And that's really what it is. Like maybe your brain can think about how things can get better, and you can tell yourself things are going to get better, things will improve, but sometimes you don't really believe it, like at your core. And I don't even know where I was going to go with that, but there's something about the joy that you will experience again. And it's almost like if you hadn't gone to the darkest depths, you wouldn't be able to experience joy at the kind of level that you will experience. And you will experience it again, I promise you. All right, let's get some cards from this Christ Consciousness Oracle. If you're wondering why my eyes look a little funny today, I have an eye infection, so that's why my one eye is red and puffy. Crying is not going to help that, but here we are. Okay. Spirit, what do we want to say with this Christ Consciousness Oracle? Paul, awakening and transformation. I'm trying to remember Paul's story. Let me pull a few more cards here. And this is definitely an awakening moment too. That's something else, like when we go through these really difficult challenges, you don't see like how pivotal it is to your spiritual awakening, what it does to your spiritual journey, how it cracks you open in a way that nothing else could, and it doesn't seem fair in the moment, and if there's loss associated with it, I mean, there can be some real downsides, and from the human perspective, some real, what we might say negative aspects to it. But the level of awakening and what it makes possible for you, for your soul and for your human self, is just unparalleled. Those challenges that are the most difficult are the ones that break you open the widest, and also make this level of joy that you can experience, even if it's not right now, just that much greater. Okay, so Paul was, I just feel like his story might be important here. Paul was Saul. So he went by a different name, and he had turned his back on God as Saul. And I might be butchering the story, so forgive me. But I know he was not a follower, and I think he went to betray Christ. And he was on his way to do that when he had a spiritual awakening, basically, on that journey. And it changed his life, and he changed his name to Paul and became a follower of Christ. And this isn't to say anything about Christianity, or you're being called to Christianity. This is just a message about your awakening, and how the awakening can sometimes happen through really difficult circumstances. Okay, and transformation. This is going to transform you so much, and it's the hardest thing to hear when you're going through something really difficult. So I'm not trying to, make light of that. I want to make sure, this doesn't come across as something trite, oh, everything happens for a reason, you just have to get through it. That's not always helpful when you're in the depths. I think the most important thing is what I was saying at the beginning of just surrendering. Don't feel like you have to figure everything out, that you have to have a plan, that you, I just feel like somebody who wants to figure out a way to get out of this pain. And sometimes surrendering is the best way, and it's sometimes what causes the greatest shift also. It does something to shift your energy, because when you're in that space of wrestling with the problem and trying to figure out a solution, you can sometimes just get caught up in that, and solutions don't come from being in that heavy energy. Or you may come up with some kind of solution, or something you think is a solution, but because it was born out of strain and heaviness and a low vibration, it may not be the best in that scenario. And I'm being reminded again of multiple things that I've been through, especially when it comes to my children. My kids, they're adults now, they're in their 20s, and they've been my greatest teachers. And the most difficult things I've gone through in my life center around my children and things I've gone through with them. And every single time I surrendered and didn't try to fix a problem with some kind of human solution, it always turned out better. Yeah. Okay, let's get a couple more from this Christ consciousness card. Peter, denial and weakness. It's funny that these two beings that are coming through this card, Paul and Peter, both were ones who betrayed Jesus. I can't remember Paul's or Peter's story, but he says on here denial, and his hand is up. It's I think he denied knowing Jesus, when he was confronted with, when they were searching for Jesus, because they were going to, try him for being a heretic or whatever. He denied knowing Jesus, and he was one of his disciples. So this is really interesting. So I'm feeling maybe one of the things that some of you are dealing with is feeling betrayed by someone in your life, a deep, deep betrayal of of pain. And sorry about that. My other greatest challenge in my life, my father. He had to make an appearance in the video. That's just a whole other story. So anyway, we were talking about betrayal, and that may be something that someone here is dealing with, like that deep kind of betrayal that you don't know if you can forgive. Yeah, it's just sending you into a place of darkness at this time. I'm sending you so much love. Okay, we're gonna get one more from this deck. Okay, interesting. Okay, we're getting children. Speaking of children, cherish and enter their world. And the heart came out with this too. What would love do? This is such a big, big message. I'm getting that saying. What is that saying? Like something about entering the kingdom with a child's heart or something like that. Yeah, that my Christian past is way, way in the past, and I don't remember all of the different stories, but there's something here about this surrender. Like, look how he has his arms open wide, like seeing through the eyes of a child, because it says here, what would love do? What would a child do? The way a child loves, the way a child just surrenders and forgives. I mean, I'm just laughing because like my father showed up in the background there, and like I said, that's been another one of my biggest challenges in my life. And you know, children, how they like forgive their parents, especially when they're children, they don't know any better, and so they have an open heart, and they don't let the ways that we intentionally and unintentionally, you know, hurt our children, right? Parents are always trying to do, most of them are trying to do the best that they can, and we make things challenging for them. They experience, you know, different traumas as a result of the way they're brought up, conditioning, like all of that, like that can go back generations and generations, but children still tend to have an open heart, at least for a long time, you know, through their childhood. And that's just kind of what's coming through here. It's like Spirit is asking you to maybe adopt this kind of attitude or energy of like, can you open your heart? I mean, look how he, like, again, he has his arms open and this heart is just pouring out, and there's all this water here too. I'm also getting something about crying. Like children will cry, you know, and not worry about how they're seen. They let their emotions flow. So there may be a call for you to do that. And see all the butterflies on this card? I don't know if you noticed me. I kept looking over into the distance. There were two butterflies just kind of like following each other around in the background. And then to see them on the card here, and the butterflies were even like this, like black and purple color, like this purple color here. So, you know, that's part of the message too. There's something here about relationships. I really feel like there's somebody in this collective I'm connecting with that's really dealing with some deep pain regarding relationships. And this could be children too in your life, just like I went through something really difficult. I have 2 kids, and I've gone through many experiences that were quite difficult. But even if it's not a child-parent relationship you're dealing with here, just any kind of betrayal or hurt, what would love do? Like, can you soften your heart a little bit? And I know this is so difficult, and you don't always have to do it in the moment that this is happening, but that surrender, you know, I'm just getting that, like with his arms open, just like surrendering and like not pushing away. Like, can you open yourself up just to the possibility of not like completely closing down is how I'm getting that. Like children, I mean, unless they're experiencing like extreme trauma, I don't feel like that's what this is about, but they still keep their heart open. And I just feel like that's part of the message here. Like, can you just keep bringing yourself back to love and the healing that your heart can experience when you forgive. This is a really tough message. Let me sit with this for a minute and see what Spirit wants to say about that. Let me shuffle the tarot while I'm sitting with that. Ooh. Huh. A card blew off the top of the other deck, and it says relationship on here. So yeah, I feel like there's definitely something about relationships in this reading. So some kind of key relationship in your life is what this is about. Their wants do not come before your needs. It's critical to prioritize your well-being and ensure that your own needs are met before attending to the desires of others. Taking care of yourself enables you to be more present and effective in supporting those around you. So this is a call about taking care of your own well-being, and you may have to put up some boundaries right now. Like, I feel like this call to like open your heart isn't something that you're being called to do now. This is feeling more like the Ace of Cups, like self-love, like giving yourself time to heal and to love yourself and to kind of find a place of solitude where you can sort of get yourself to a place where you can sort of move forward and not be so stuck in the darkness. I'm hearing again this children cards and being. It says enter their world. I don't know if you have like either young children around you that could kind of lift your spirits if you're around them, or just taking on that viewpoint of a child that just kind of lives in the moment and doesn't take things like so seriously. Not saying you shouldn't take your situation seriously, but allowing yourself to kind of let it go for a little while, like surrender and just like play and do what lights your heart up. Let your heart overflow with something that brings you joy. We had the joy card also. I'm going to get some tarot just to see like if we can get a little bit more specifics on this. And whoever you connect to spiritually, like if there's a being that you connect to, like if you've really connected to Jesus, for example, since I brought out this Christ consciousness card, like he always called people to come to him with their sorrows. And I can't remember the sayings, but there's something about the children. You always would hear about him being surrounded by children and like, come to me as a child, something like that. Like you can seek out support from, again, anybody that you connect with spiritually, and come to them as a child would come to like a parent for comfort and guidance, and kind of giving up the need to, again, feel like you have to fix everything or understand or find solutions to everything right now. Like kind of be in that childlike space where you go to the parent and you expect your parent to fix things, right? And maybe sometimes you just, as a child, would go to them just for comfort and reassurance. And Spirit is saying, like, that's why I got that message in the beginning. Go to the garden for advice. Jesus did that also. So I'm being reminded of, like, when I say garden, Gethsemane is where Jesus went when he knew he was going to be crucified. Like, he had already been betrayed. He knew he was facing imminent death, and his human self struggled with that. And he was feeling very desperate. So he went into the garden to pray to God, and he said, something along the lines of, can you spare this, situation from me, for me? He basically was asking his father to save him. And he knew that he was still meant to go down this path and he was going to be crucified. But still in his humanness, he went to his father and went to him for comfort. And I just feel like Spirit's reaching out to you to offer you that, and to come to him just like an innocent child would, and to not feel like you're so strong and I can handle this on my own, and to not let yourself be comforted and loved by a higher power and surrendering to that. Oops, I forgot I pulled a card when I was talking there. Okay, the Knight of Wands. Ten of Pentacles. Queen of Swords and the Six of Wands. Okay, let me sit with this for a second here. I heard something like having really clear boundaries, knowing where you stand in a family. So I definitely feel like, because we got relationships here and I shared the whole thing about my crazy family stuff, there's something here with understanding like the bigger, like having a bigger, wider perspective on family and relationships and how they are here to teach us things and, teach us how to have boundaries. I just feel like that with the Queen of Swords. Like, she has really strong boundaries. She speaks her truth. And the difficult things that she's gone through have made her stronger. And that's going to be you too, coming out on the other side of this. You're going to come out victorious from this. And this Knight of Wands, I feel like this is connecting with this reading because, like, this is you being, like, fiery and determined, and like I'm gonna like almost push through this situation you're in with like this fire energy, and you're really being called to kind of step back and see from a different perspective, kind of like clear your mind from this energy. I kind of feel like he's running away from this family. Like, he came out right after or right before this Ten of Pentacles. And yeah, he's like, I can handle this on my own. I'm going to leave these people behind. And Spirit's saying, hang in there. And when you come out on the other side of this with this kind of Queen of Swords strength, with the stronger boundaries, with clarity about why you went through this, why you have the relationships that you do, why you have the challenges that are kind of set up for you to go through, is going to make you come out like on top. I'm hearing like he's on this horse, and he's on this horse too, but there's a difference between these two. Like, he's going out to almost like fight this battle, and he's coming back victorious. But this Queen of Swords, she sees the bigger picture, and she's getting really clear on all of this relationship. This might even go back generations. This card can speak to generations in a family. And yeah, it's like sticking with it, but not like running away, not turning your back, like I'm getting with this card here, like they're connected, but staying in it and letting it teach you, letting it make you stronger, and you'll come out victorious in the end. Okay, let me get a final tarot card I'm feeling, actually. Oh, wow. Ten of Cups. Yeah. This is so healing. I mean, this is harmony. I mean, we've got the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, which both speaks of family. So I really feel like this is relationships, even if it's not like your immediate family, just like your relationships in general is going to benefit your relationships in general. Let me see. I feel like I want to get one more card here. And it's, again, opening your arms to love, and keep asking yourself, what would love do in this situation? And sometimes when you're really in the thick of it and things are really bad, the best thing you can do is is to go to that garden and surrender it to God or whatever your higher power is. And what did I want to say there? Surrendering it to God, and you don't have to deal with the relationship aspect of it right now and like show love and forgive and all of that. This might be just something that you just need to surrender. I just feel like that's the major message here. Okay, and then we're getting the Five of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. I'm hearing like this is a reversal of fortune for you. Because Five of Pentacles is feeling like left out in the cold. And I feel like this is like not shunning your family, your relationships. Things are going to be changing. You're going through this major like spiritual awakening with this, and things are going to change, and you're going to see your relationships change, and you're going to be sitting in this like King of Pentacles energy. It's like you're restoring some kind of balance to your family. This is like security and stability. Yeah, that's coming through really strongly with this Ten of Pentacles. I know these are often associated with money, but I'm not feeling that in this reading, right? You're going from like this lack, this kind of feeling left out in the cold, when it comes to relationships, your family, what have you, but you're going to be sitting as this King of Pentacles, and I feel like you're like healing your family lineage, and you're bringing people together, and there's just something in, again, your family or your relationships that's going to be stable and secure. And this is like the promise, with the rainbow here. This is the happily ever after card, and that is in your future for you, but you just have to get through this time right now. So surrender and give it all up to God, I'm hearing. So this reading went pretty long. Thank you for being here, if you're still here at the end. I appreciate you so much. I don't like to put limits on my readings. I just want the message to kind of flow and come out, and it just as long as it needs to be. So I appreciate you so much for being here. I'm sending you so much love. Please consider joining my community by subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you really soon. Bye.